11, 23. We finished off last week with like a gold ring and a pig's snout. Somebody read 23.
The desire of the righteous ends only in good, but the hope of the wicked only in wrath.
They're talking about this world or the next world?
Sort of both.
Both.
A little bit of both.
Well, the key word there is ends.
Next world.
So it's talking about the next world. The end of all things. The end of, well, it's a process to look at all the words in the verse. You need to look at all the words.
Okay, but I see a lot of wicked people that their lives are, I mean, might not have ended yet, but man, they've gone to poop. They have the things that they've done and the wicked desires have brought them, they don't know, they don't feel like I do, they don't know what I know, they don't have the relationships with people that I have.
I agree. And I think it starts in this life.
Okay.
I think it begins here.
Can I get a half credit? Thank you.
I'll give you 90%. It wasn't the wrong answer.
Okay.
But this particular verse is talking about the end. And at the end begins eternity. The end of our life begins eternity. And we're either going to have only good or we're going to have only wrath. And there's not going to be anything you want, there's not going to be anything you want to experience in hell.
They don't even know how bad
There's
that
nothing. There's nothing there you're going to want to have anything to do with, and there's going to be nothing in heaven that. How do we know that we're going to get to heaven and all's going to be well?
Because God said so. Because it says so.
Because it says so.
Won't I have the ability to mess it up
Oh, I hope not.
if I choose?
Mess it up in heaven or mess it up here?
Mess it up in heaven.
In heaven. Probably we'll know better up there. We'll know all.
Okay.
God will, once we're up there, God's with us and He'll teach us.
Didn't Satan, didn't he?
Oh, he did, but
wasn't
yeah.
he in heaven and didn't he get messed up? And,
Yes,
I mean, is it possible to go up there and screw up and be sent away?
Okay. What causes sin?
Temptation.
Desire. Evil desire.
Evil desire.
Temptation. Well, not temptation.
No, yeah, exactly right. That's the word I'm looking for.
Temptation.
Hang on to it.
Okay.
You're good. Don't go anywhere else. Temptation.
We'll sit on that side of the room.
If you read James chapter 1, it starts with temptation, and then what do we get tempted by? Our evil desires of our heart. It says, when we're led away, it's because of the evil desires of our heart. Satan looks at me and he says, broccoli won't work, but let's do fly rods. that'll tempt him, And then he gets my eye, and the temptation is kind of pulling at me, and then I either say, I'm not going to do it, or I am going to do it. Okay? And then I make a decision, and when I make that decision, it becomes sin. The temptation is not the sin. The temptation is the invitation to sin. Okay? Now, if you go to the 18th and 19th chapter of Revelation, there's 1,000 years of peace. Why? No sin, no death, no illness, no sickness, nothing. Everything just runs smooth as glass for 1,000 years. Why?
No temptation.
No temptation. Exactly right. Why no temptation?
To give everybody a chance to...
No, why isn't there temptation?
Oh, because Satan's locked up.
Satan's been bound and thrown into the pit. And no Satan, no temptation, no sin. Okay? Where's Satan going to be after the 1,000 years at the end of all things? You're going to be locked back up. Now, there's an interesting thing in 19. It says, after the 1,000-year reign, for a short season, like for 3 months, Satan is let out of the pit for a short season. What happens? After 1,000 years of living with Christ and everything's peace, and there's no hunger, and there's no sun, and there's no death, and there's no sickness, and you can eat all the strawberries you want. What happens when they let Satan out for 3 months? There's a huge rebellion rises up. Even though we know about Armageddon and the great defeat, this huge rebellion rises up, and it says that they compress the holy city as great as the sands on the beaches and the seashore. That many people rebel in 3 months when Satan is let out and the temptation comes back. Well, in heaven, Satan won't be there. If Satan's not there, there won't be any temptation. If there's no temptation, there won't be any sin. And everything will be in peace. The problem that caused it in the first place was Satan's presence. He's not going to be there the next time around. All right. So,
Good, so I can't mess up heaven.
but the hope of the wicked is only wrath. 24.
One man gives freely, yet gains even more. Another withholds unduly, but comes to poverty.
All right.
That's right.
In the Old Testament, what was the definition of a tithe?
10% of all.
10%. 10%. That was a tithe. In the New Testament, what was the definition of a tithe?
10%.
Or it's not found in the New Testament.
Oh, that's right. That's a trick question.
Why not? Huh?
I don't know.
Why not? In the Old Testament, we lived by the law, and we had to have these rules written on the wall. And God made it easy. There were 10 sentences. Now, we have turned it into the Library of Congress. Okay? And our laws are so contradictory now, you can get away with anything. You know, one law tells you don't do it, but another law gives you an open door to do it. Depending on what it is. Murder doesn't apply. You know, cheating on your taxes, you can find loophole after loophole after loophole if you want to hire a good enough accountant. Okay? And I suppose people probably come into the office and say, can't you find me a loophole? Don't they?
All the time.
Yeah, they try. But God made it easy. God said, don't kill anybody. God said, don't steal. And we turned stealing into larceny, grand larceny, petty theft. You know, we made all these definitions of what stealing is. It doesn't matter whether you steal my apple or steal my car, you stole. It's sin. God said, don't steal anything from anybody. If it's not yours, keep your hands off of it. Okay? It's simple. Thou shalt not steal. And we turned it into the Library of Congress. And now we have situational ethics. What are situational ethics? When would it be okay to steal?
Okay, because his family was starving.
Because my kids are hungry. Well, why are my kids hungry? Because I get my paycheck and drink it up every Friday night. So it's okay to go steal? No, it's not. Don't shake your head, yes.
I'm saying yes, that's
You're
what happened.
And lock your cars.
I'm saying yes, I know that guy.
She's sitting there going, no. It's like, but anyway, you know, we have situations, I think, don't steal. Just don't steal. And God made it easy, and then our society, all societies end up the way we are. We all make it We all justify sin. We even changed the name of it. It was an abomination, and then it was adultery, and then it was cheating, and now we're having an affair. I don't know if you've ever been involved with an affair, but it's an abomination. It destroys families, it destroys kids, it destroys marriages, and it destroys people. You don't commit adultery. And they went, well, what are the conditions where it would be okay? There are no conditions where it would be okay. Don't even think about it. God said even if, even if you think about it, you've as good as done it. Because the more you think about it, the more likely it is you're going to do it. All right? Now, how does this work? One person gives freely, yet gets even more. Another withholds duly, but comes to poverty.
He trusts you. If God sees that He can trust you with more abundant stuff, and it doesn't change your heart, you don't chase stuff, if you give freely, and I'm telling you right now, there's been so many times in my life where I'll come to church and give, and I'm wondering how I'm going to pay the power bill at the end of the month. And someone will call and say, hey, I want 3 limestone benches with names carved in them, and all of a sudden I'll get a side job where I'll make 3 times more than what I gave away. And it happens all the time when I give, I get.
It happens every time.
Yeah, and not give regretfully. If you've got a bad feeling about it, then that's what He's going to do. He's going to look at you and go,
You might as well have just kept it.
right?
Yeah.
I just got
That's exactly the truth. You cannot outgive God.
10 points. I just got a message from a girl I went to high school with. This is my 15th year out of school. I've talked to this girl 3 times in 15 years. And the last time was about probably 6 months ago. And just out of the blue, she messaged me and asked me to pray for her. I don't know her. I'm a friend on Facebook. I don't talk to her on Facebook. I see that she does some stuff that I want to be involved in. And she messaged me like 6 months ago and asked me to pray for her because she knows that I pray, And I did. I told her I would, and I, a couple of times checked on her and told her I was still praying for her. And so she messaged me again and asked me to pray for her. And I said, okay, I will. And I didn't ask for details because I didn't want them, And she messaged me and said, I've been doing what you said. I just gave her some suggestions, gave her some scripture. And she said, I've been doing what you said for the last 2 weeks now, and I'm feeling closer to God, and I'm going back to what I know, and I know you're right and stuff, but they repoed my car today, and they shut off my electricity, and I told her exactly what you just said. I said, Jess, this is what's happened to me. I know exactly what you're going through. I said, we have literally given our last $10 at church or at Relay for Life or whatever needed it, literally given it, not knowing what the heck we're going to do. And something, there's a mistake at the pharmacy, there's a mistake at the gas station, there's always a mistake somewhere. Somehow, there's always money that shows up. There's always a check in the mail that we weren't expecting. It always happens. And the next day she texted me and said she got her car back somehow. Somebody, she said she thinks it was her mom, but somebody paid for her car, something like that. So, every time.
Every time.
Yeah, and no, she's not a dedicated Christian that, was doing everything right. She just did it right that time, so.
This week, Kroger, J.C. Kroger, put all their fruit jars on sale. And I saw they were on sale, and I thought, I need to go down to the basement and see if I need fruit jars. And I got 40 broccoli plants ready to come on. I got cauliflower, 40 cauliflower heads about this big around, and Stuff is getting ready to happen. And I always make a lot of onion soup because onions don't keep that well. I'll keep enough for the next 3 or 4 months. And I make 5 gallons of onion soup and can it. And so I went down to the basement and I thought, I need to see how many fruit jars we have. I couldn't find 2 dozen empty fruit jars. And we go down there all the time and get stuff. And I looked and I looked and I looked and I looked. And then it dawned on me just what you're saying. Now, I don't know if you've noticed or not, but I fix breakfast for 20 people every Sunday morning. And I don't put a donation cup out, right? But God rewards them. And I go down in the basement, can't find any fruit jars, and we're opening fruit jars all the time. How they get filled back up? We didn't throw them away. How did that, it's like those 2 fish and 5 biscuits that were in that. He kept breaking them and kept breaking them and kept breaking them, and he ends up with 12 baskets left over. That happened to me yesterday. So don't you ever feel guilty about eating breakfast in Sunday school, because I am greatly blessed because I do that. I don't do it for you, I do it for me. But that's a true story. You can come over to my house, go down to the basement, and if you can find them, I'd like to see them. I don't know where my wife hid them. And I found green beans from 4 different years. And they're just as green and pretty as they were then. I opened up a can, fried up some bacon. They taste just like they're brand spanking new. How does that work? You cannot outgive God. He promised you, if you will be generous, I will return it to you, shake down, press it together, overflowing, greater than that which you are able to bear. I'm going to have to give away fruit jars worth of stuff when the garden comes in, because I've run out of space in the basement, and I really wanted to get to the next one. But we'll have to do it next week.
My bag of Linda is that one prescription.